Google just put NotebookLM right inside of Google Gemini, and most people don't understand why this is such a big deal, and they're going to end up using it like a regular ChatGPT project. In this video, I'm going to show you why that's probably one of the biggest mistakes you'll make this year, because this update allows you to turn Gemini into a personal AI system that remembers everything about you and your business, what you're building, and what you need to do next. Not to mention, it helps you create one of the most organized spaces for your work possible without bloating your own machine. If you want to follow along with this video, you can set up a free Gemini account at gemini.google.com. Google Notebooks are probably going to be one of the most underutilized AI features of 2026 that people are going to be sleeping on because of the abilities that they give you. There's so much context that you can upload to these notebooks without losing performance, unlike ChatGPT and Claude, which are going to degrade more quickly over time. And that's because these notebooks are Gemini NotebookLM embedded directly inside of Gemini, and we all know that NotebookLM's RAG system is far superior to Claude's and ChatGPT's. And if you want to use NotebookLM, you can go to notebooklm.google.com and set up a free account. On NotebookLM's free plan alone, you're allowed to set up over 100 different notebooks. And inside of each of those notebooks, you're allowed to upload up to 50 different sources from which you can ask questions, study, but also create things like mind maps, audio overviews, slide decks, infographics, flashcards, data tables, and so much more. And then you're able to take all of that multimedia context, bring it into Gemini, place your own custom instructions, and design workflows that do things that you couldn't possibly imagine doing in ChatGPT or Claude. Especially when you learn how to set up each of your individual notebooks to configure Gemini's intelligence to behave in different ways based on the workflow or task that you're trying to accomplish at the moment. The number one problem with AI platforms right now is that they're mainly chatbots. You enter a prompt and you get a response back, and tomorrow you have to start from scratch. And this is a step in the right direction by bringing notebooks into Gemini, because this gives us far richer context in the infrastructure and the responses that we're getting from Gemini. And they do give us some capabilities for automated workflows similar to Claude skills. Because now that my notebook is directly inside of Gemini and the relationship between the two is much more closely connected, this is going to give us a far better experience than me opening a chat and then adding a notebook as a data source. So the first thing we want to do is create a Google Notebook. And what you want to do is click on this tab on the left that says New Notebook, and you're going to see a screen like this. And we're going to title this notebook Research Assistant. And I'm going to take my Claude plugin, the librarian that outperforms Opus 4.6, ChatGPT 5.3, and Gemini 3.1 when it comes to deep research. And we're going to install it inside of Google Gemini using the new notebooks feature. The first thing you want to do whenever you're setting up these workflows is you want to set up your library or your sources. We want to click on sources, and you can upload files, things from your drive, websites, or even copy text. And I want you to notice very carefully that this includes images and videos. So I can take my original YouTube videos that I've recorded and upload them here and have Gemini process them. Or I can take ads that I found from different competitors online and upload them here. Now that we've selected our files, all we have to do is wait for them to finish uploading. And as they upload, we can see that the markdown symbol appears. Now that all of our files are uploaded, we can close this, and we have 18 sources. The next thing we want to do is come up here to the top right where you see the three dots, and then we want to click on Notebook Settings. And inside the notebook settings, Gemini has a feature that I absolutely love from ChatGPT projects, but it's this memory feature where you can turn it on or off. And so if you keep it on, this will allow Gemini to respond using all chats in this notebook when responding. But if you turn it off, this makes it hyper focused, and it's only going to respond using this particular chat. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to paste something into the custom instructions. The prompt tells us that we can tell Gemini how to respond and what tone to use, but what I've been doing for over a year now is I've been using this as an opportunity to give step-by-step instructions for the model to follow and to modify or configure its behavior and its intelligence. Basically, I'm fine-tuning the model here to some degree. And I know this is a very small window to look through, but if you could read this, essentially what I'm telling Gemini to do is to load this particular file and treat it as the operating control for the entire conversation. And then there are specific instructions for how to handle all of the other files that I've also uploaded as well. And what I want you to understand is that at the end of the day, Whenever you're creating a plugin, a skill, or anything of that degree, this is essentially what is happening. You're going to have several different workflows, several different documents, tools, templates, and items that the AI system is going to need to complete its task. And you're going to need somebody to orchestrate that. Now, I know there are people right now saying the models don't need heavy orchestration. They need to just figure it out. And of course, they want you to burn through your tokens on their expensive model. But if you know what needs to be done, and you know the output that you want, then just set up your orchestration layer, your router prompt, I like to call it, and set up your workflows so that you get the output that you want. Don't worry about what they say is best. Just do what works for you. To help you understand the difference this can make, I'm going to run the same prompt in different ways so you can make a comparison. First, we're going to make sure the pro model is chosen. Research why people start talking to AI like it's a person. Then I'm going to run the same prompt as a chat query in our project. And one of the first things you see is path B, because there are different paths that you can choose. It's running the actual skill. So I might say something like, I'm trying to figure out why there is a large scale psychosis no one seems to notice around a particular model. And I'm going to try to educate people with the answer. Can you give me the answer back as a landscape map? And then I'll send off that query. And now it's going to go out and do the research. If you used deep research with a research assistant that you've configured for Gemini, deep research is going to override that. So if you create your own, I recommend that you don't use deep research with it because the results are just going to be better with your own. But here's the results. And so now I have the landscape map, the psychology of AI, anthropomorphism, the cognitive base, the historical precedent. And then I was able to follow up and ask Gemini, which research methodology did you use? Because the way this research assistant is configured is that it uses one of 10 desk research methodologies so that the research is more than just a Google search of hundreds of files, which deep research is going to do, and then compile them all together so that you get the best information and the worst information in the same report. This system is going to use a single research methodology, and it's going to use that same system to qualify and disqualify the sources that it bases its response on. And if I ask it right now, how did you qualify and disqualify the sources you use for your response based on the scoping methodology? And then it gives us a summary of how sources are qualified or disqualified under this methodology. But now that I've started researching this, let's say that I come over into NotebookLM and I go back to my home screen and I refresh my browser. You can see that I have a research assistant here with 20 sources. And if I come right here to the top, you can see that I have 2 chats from Gemini that are now sources inside of this notebook. And so now I can turn off all sources and then I can turn on only one of them. And then I can tell Gemini to generate a mind map from this conversation. And what I want you to notice is that this mind map is not just tracking the information, it's tracking how we got the information. But let's say that we do run a deep research and we get our research back and we read it and we're like, man, I really like this. This is some helpful information. I would love to add this to a notebook. Then all we have to do is come to the top right, click on the 3 dots. We can see the files in this chat. There are none, just this one. Or we can add to notebook and then we can choose our notebook research assistant. And now this conversation is a part of that particular notebook. And you'll know it's been added to the notebook because right beneath the title of the chat, you'll see the title of the notebook research assistant. So if you want to get access to any of these tools that you saw me use today, you can get them when you purchase my content engine kit. The link will be in the description. And if you got value out of this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And as always, take care, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.